Hello again, I'm Maha, and we are live with you from the LinkedIn Hub at Advertising Week. We're here in Times Square in New York, and I am sitting with Tracy Rosecrans, who is the VP of Marketing at Healthline.com. Hi, Tracy. First of all, you guys are a health publisher, of which there are a few. But I think that, from our chat, I noticed something that I thought was very interesting, and I'm sure is a big part of why you guys have had this kind of trajectory of success in the recent years, which is the focus on being very consumer-centric, right? So let's talk a little bit about that, and also I know you're doing a panel on that, so talk about it in a broader picture of, are people doing a good job with that?
So Healthline's content starts first and foremost with listening to what our consumers want to know about. So unlike a lot of traditional publishers where editors sort of congregate in a room and talk about ideas, we look at the data, we look at search data, we look at what our communities are talking about, and we take that information and we turn it into relevant content based on our editorial standards, which are to be authoritative, approachable, and actionable, so that every user that comes to healthline.com finds exactly what they're looking for and they know what to do with that information.
So as a marketing person yourself, and like I said, you guys were talking about a panel, and kind of gauging whether you think people are doing a good job of being consumer-centric enough in this new world where the consumer is very different. The consumer has access to a lot more than he, she ever did.
So I think marketers are so focused and enamored with big data and leveraging big data to reach people at the right time and the right place that they often lose sight of what the right message should be. And gone are the days when brands could have a one-way dialogue with consumers and expect them to accept that message at face value. Today, more than ever, brands need to learn to listen to and collaborate with their audience. And collaboration could be as simple as crowdsourcing ideas for content or polling your audience and helping them decide what the right new snack flavor should be for your product.
One thing that I talked about with Greg from Publis, I know you guys are quite involved with Publis Health Media as well, is the idea that in the health space, in the wellness space and in the pharma space, I think it's like the consumer. While the consumer is important everywhere, and you got to get it right with the consumer, there is a certain sensitivity that comes with this particular field that puts another layer almost on top of it, or needs another layer of sensitivity and nuance and so on. So I want to talk a little bit about that and how you guys are always very conscious of that to make sure that whatever ads, etc., are always really the right time, the right place, the right subject matter, and because it's kind of make or break.
Yeah, so probably the best example of that in the health space is health is a very private topic, and when a consumer is on our site viewing information, probably one of the best examples is about potentially an STD. You wouldn't want to retarget them on another site where someone else could see that they're getting that ad. So we're hyper conscious and very aware of what those conditions are that are very sensitive, and we have rules around how we can reach consumers about those specific conditions.
You guys as a website, I mean, you must have all kinds of different ads going on left, right, and so how do you guys manage that and handle it to where it adds to the user experience without being intrusive?
So we have a very clear separation of editorial church and advertising state. So there isn't a lot of, our editors basically do what they want without influence of our advertisers. And there's rarely any, we're very focused on quality and delivering an excellent experience to all of our consumers and making sure that their data is private and protected.
So I know that, as a publisher, and we were talking about this, you guys are very focused on the quality and making sure that the user experience is really a good one and a memorable one. So let's talk a little bit about, you've told me about some of the qualities that you guys focus on to make sure that the user has a good experience. But, as a digital space, I mean, what are some of the things that you guys are more focused on in order to make sure that flows well and that the privacy is there and the trust and so on?
Yeah, so I think a great example of how much we've evolved as a publisher and how hyper-focused we are on quality is a few years ago we used to have 1 million pieces of content and we saw roughly 2 million monthly sessions. And today we have 19,000 pieces of content and we see over 51 million monthly sessions.
Wow, that's a...
In just a little over 2-year period. And that's testament to the fact that we pay close attention to every single query and every single experience that happens on Healthline.com.
Well, I think that's really great. I hope you guys continue to do what you're doing, continue to grow and become a resource for people. And I think it's especially great because of the sensitivity that you guys are maintaining and the consumer-centricness. That is such a word. Thank you so much, Tracy.
Thank you.